The same bridge that is now a connection between the communities was once a division between the communities. And as I said, there's a younger generation, a different population coming in, and the bridge is really bringing the communities together.
This bridge has, it literally bridges two sides of the tracks, the North Woodside side of the tracks and the Lyttonsville and Rosemary Hills side of the tracks. The community on this side of the tracks, the Lyttonsville side of the tracks, was a historically African American community.
It was a very rural area. We did not have running water. We did not have paved streets. It took the county 26 years of constant pushing and fighting to get the streets paved. And when they finally paved the streets, they plowed up all the streets, all the roads, I should say, at the same time. So we had to walk through mud, put on boots and walk through mud to get to hard surface where we had parked our cars or to get out of the community. Well, the bridge is 100 years old now, but we called it a lifeline because the community was separated by the bridge to all amenities that we should be using. We could not go to the stores in Silver Spring. We couldn't try on hats. We couldn't eat at lunch counters and things like that. But this was a lifeline to medical purposes, to hospitals, to even churches outside of the community.
If you look at the census numbers, and even into the 40s, there were census numbers showing maybe 10 or 15 African Americans living on the North Woodside side of the tracks. They were all domestic servants. And this bridge was the way they crossed over into our neighborhood. And so for a long time, this bridge literally represented the segregation between the white side of town, or the white side of the tracks, and the black side of the tracks.
My grandmother worked in Woodside. She would cross the bridge every day to work in somebody's home over there and then walk back in the evenings. This was our way of life.
The areas on this side of the tracks, the North Woodside side of the tracks, was a neighborhood that had racially restrictive covenants for decades. And we don't know exactly how long, but we do know that at least the original covenants in the neighborhood were restricted to the white race, basically. And this was true for large portions of Silver Spring, not just this neighborhood, but large portions of Silver Spring. What I understand is that this was known as a sunset community. You were not, if you were African American, you were not allowed to walk through the neighborhood at night. These were communities that led to segregated businesses, that led to you weren't able to purchase a house, you weren't able to rent in the community. And so it created a profound divide among those communities in this county that I think even decades later we are now just confronting.
Children, as God tends to use them, was one of the factors that helped meld the neighborhood together. There was the little colored school, Linden School here, and then there were the other schools in the area for white students, for the white children. But when integration came in 54, the kids all went to the same school. So we got to know some of the young people that lived here in the area. And when you get to ride on a bus to school, or you get to play on the playground with children, you know each other, and then the parents want to know who you are too.
We've had such a turnover in the communities on both sides, and the attitudes have changed. People are friendlier. They're understanding the plight of one neighborhood and the other. We've known the story for many years. They're just learning the story. So it has made a big difference.
One of the things the North Woodside Civic Association did for the 100th anniversary celebration of the bridge was pass a resolution condemning the racially restrictive covenants that our neighborhood had for many years, and pledging to work together with the neighbors on the other side of the tracks.
It tells me that we've come a long way. It took a long struggle and battle to get here, but we still are progressing. We still have issues, but we've come a long way.
I think, a lot of people in Montgomery County assume that we didn't have a lot of the troubles or don't have a lot of the issues that we ascribe to other places, but the truth is Montgomery County's history is pretty much like every place else, and this was originally supposed to be a white suburb, and fortunately history moved beyond that.
Sing and rejoice, sing and rejoice, sing and rejoice, sing and rejoice. Let all things willing now sing and rejoice.
Operatic. Nice opera voice.